Hi everyone, this is a quick video just to share some resources with you and some tips to study English in your own time at home. I'm just going to show you some websites and yeah, I'll tell you how to use them and what you can do with them. So the first website I want to show you is called learnenglish.britishcouncil.org. I remember in the last course I showed you Learn English Teens, but they've recently updated this website, so I suggest you start using this one instead. So from this website, you can look at skills, grammar, vocabulary, business English, general English, and IELTS. What I wanted to focus on were the skills. When you're studying English, it's very, very important to listen to more English and read as much English as you can. And it's absolutely fine to watch TV shows, documentaries, movies, and so on to pick up language. But we do need some focused practice as well, and this website will give you that. And the same with reading. It's absolutely fine to read the newspaper or read blogs or whatever. But again, you need some focused reading practice. What I mean by that is you read something, you answer some questions to check if you've understood it or not. All right, so let's look at reading first. So you go to skills and you click reading, and it'll bring you to this page here. You'll see all the different levels here from beginner all the way up to advanced. So I'm going to show you the intermediate section because that's the class that we just did. Um, Alright, so when you come here, you'll see all of these different reading lessons. It's very, very important to read a variety of texts. That's because it will help you understand how the different texts are written. So if you look here, you'll see that there is a conference program, a travel guide, an email, an encyclopedia entry, blogs, planning an event, and this is about a dialogue where three people are negotiating, an article, so a book review as well. So it's very important to read um, texts on different topics, and reading a variety of texts is very, very important. That's because it will help you understand how to write these different texts. It'll also help you expand your vocabulary because you'll notice that the words and the language used in these different texts differ from one another, and that will help you tremendously. So let me just show you one of these here. Let's look at a travel guide. So before you start reading the travel guide, do the preparation stage first. And here you need to match these words with the definitions over here. After you do that, you read the text here and you answer the two tasks. Once you answer the tasks here, you can click finish and you can check your answers. Now, an important thing to remember is when you're reading, if you don't understand the word, please don't stop reading just to check that word. Try to guess the meaning of the word from the sentence. So for example, if you look at this sentence here, for something more authentic, Phra Kanong offers an alternative place to stay with its fantastic street markets where everyday Bangkok people eat, work, and live. Now, in this sentence, if you're not sure what authentic means, it's fine. Try to guess what it means. Okay? Read the sentence before it. So here it says, but it's noisy, not very pretty, and not very Thai. But if you're going to Thailand, you might want to see something that's quite Thai. So for something more authentic. So you know that this word authentic here is related to something not very Thai. So you can try and guess the meaning of the word here from the sentence. It's better than stopping reading and checking the dictionary every 2 minutes. So while you're reading it, if you come across words you're not sure about, try to guess the meaning of the word, make a note of it. After you finish answering these questions, go back through the text again and look up words that you're not sure about and check them in a dictionary. And you should record the vocabulary that you learn. So when you're recording the vocabulary, you should write the word, write the part of speech. Is it an adjective, noun, verb, adverb, and the definition, what does it mean? And write an example sentence with that word. So a good dictionary to use is the Cambridge Dictionary. Let me just show it to you here. dictionary.cambridge.org. So for example, if I search authentic. Alright, so you have the pronunciation here as well, so please listen to it so that you know how to say the word. You have the definition over here, and you have some sentences and phrases over here. And there's some more examples given over here. So in your notebook, or if you would like on your phones, you should write the word, write the part of speech, which is adjective, write the definition, and write an example sentence, which will help you remember what the word means. And after doing this, you should make sure that you try to use the words that you record in your speaking and in your writing. And that's extremely important to remember those words. Research has shown that students who actually record vocabulary, they're more likely, they remember more. They remember more of the words and they use more. So please start recording vocabulary. Alright, so to come back to this page here, after you finish reading this, you've done all that, you've looked at the vocabulary, you can just go back and read another one. Once you've finished reading all of these in the intermediate level, you just go back again and go to the upper intermediate level. And obviously, the language will be more complex. There'll be more words that will be new for you. The grammar used will be more complex as well. And it's a good way to check how you are progressing. So if you finish the intermediate level and you go to the upper intermediate level, yeah, it'll be challenging, but if you're able to understand it, then you know that you've improved. So please do go through these and you can check yourself basically and just go up through the levels here. If intermediate is too difficult, you can go to pre-intermediate as well and complete these first before you go up to intermediate. Let's look at listening. So listening is another very important skill. And again, when you come to listening, you have all these levels here. You can go to intermediate. And just like I said for reading, that you need to read a variety of different things and topics because the language is different for each one, is the same with listening. So for example, a discussion between two students and a phone call from a customer is very different. So the language used will be different, the vocabulary used will be different, the tone will be different. So it's very important to try and listen to different things, okay? So here you have discussions, phone calls, meetings, a weather forecast, an interview, a lecture at the chemist's. So there are a lot of listening text over here. So let's just look at one of them. If we look at an introduction to a lecture, again, you do the preparation first, okay, and you match the words to the definitions. After that, you click the play button, obviously, to listen to it. But while listening, don't open the transcript first. Do the tasks first. So while you're listening, answer these questions here, task 1 and task 2. Now, it's very important that to go back to the listening again once you finish answering the questions and listen again and read the transcript as well. This will help you pick up new words. This will also help you check the pronunciation of words you're not sure about. And again, any new words you come across, please record them and please remember to use them in your speaking and in your writing. And this is extremely important to come back to the listening after you've answered the questions, to listen again and read along. Alright, and just like with the reading texts, after you finish one listening text, go to another one. Okay, and try to finish all of these. When you're done, try to go up to upper intermediate and continue. Alright, some of you might wonder, like, what about watching movies and TV shows? That's absolutely fine. Documentaries, that's fine. Continue doing that. But I would suggest that while you're watching a movie or a TV show, try to turn on the subtitles and don't do it for the entire TV show or movie because obviously you want to enjoy your movie watching experience. But maybe for a few minutes, you can turn on the subtitle just to check, if you've picked up the words that they're using. And maybe you've watched a section of the movie, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, but you didn't understand what they said. Rewind it, turn the subtitle on, and listen and read along. And maybe you can pick up a few words from there as well. Alright, Now let's look at writing. Writing is also very, very important to practice, especially seeing that in your first language, the writing script is very different from English. It's very important to read more to improve your writing. Because when you read different kinds of texts like forum posts, messages, emails, forms, reports, essays, articles, then you'll know how to write those things when you will have to write them. So if you read a lot of different types of email, so you read a formal email, a business like a formal business email, you read an email to a friend, you read a blog post, you read an essay. When it's time to actually write those things, it'll be easier for you because you already have an idea of how to write them. So reading is a very important skill to help you improve your writing as well. So you go to intermediate here. And again, you need to read a variety of texts, like I've said, and you should try practicing many different types of writing as well. So here you'll see there's an email to a friend, there's a professional email, there's academic writing describing charts. This is quite academic and something you'd be expected to do maybe on a university course or on the IELTS as well. Reflective writing is something personal about your personal experiences. So this is something you can do outside of this website. Obviously, you can keep a diary, and every week you can write a little bit in there about how your day went or about your dreams, ambitions, and just practice writing about your own experiences and your own thoughts, just so that you have a place to practice writing. And when you're writing, you should try to use the words that you've learned, new words that you've learned as well. All right, so let's look at a professional profile because this is quite realistic. When you're applying for jobs and you're putting up a profile online or you're writing a CV, having a good looking professional profile is very important. So the first thing to do again is the preparation. So you match these words to the definitions given here. And these words that they're showing you here, these are commonly used in CVs and in professional profiles. So it's a good idea to make a note of these as well. And then you have the text here. So this professional profile is for David Bedingfield. And once you read through these, at the end you'll see these 6 tips. These are very, very important, so make sure you read them and complete these 3 tasks. After you finish reading the professional profile and reading the tips and doing the tasks, write your own professional profile. So use this as an example and write your own professional profile. And this is something quite realistic and you can use it when applying for jobs. An important thing to point out here is there are many phrases in this professional profile that are commonly used in CVs. So, for example, over the past 6 years, I have held various roles. I have a proven track record. My role involves. These are very common phrases that are used in professional profiles, and this language is quite specific to a professional profile. Um, you so it's really important to notice these and use these when you're writing your own CVs. All right. So again, when you finish this, you go back and try another writing lesson. When you finish all of these writing lessons, you go back again and go up to the next level, upper intermediate. One thing you can do is, because all of you are learning English together, when you write your own professional profile or you write an email, share it with each other, okay, and exchange it with each other. See how your classmate has written it, okay, and compare it with each other and give each other feedback. Maybe you notice a spelling mistake or a grammar mistake, and give each other feedback. Tell each other how to improve your writing, and that's extremely important as well. All right, so let's continue. Right, so this was the first website, learnenglish.britishcouncil.org. We went over listening, reading, and writing. This website also has a grammar reference. So at the top, you'll see it says here grammar. You can go to intermediate to upper intermediate, and there's some grammar videos. There's also grammar reference here. So if you want to know more about adjectives, possessives, nouns, determiners, pronouns, you can go through this and you can read about the different grammar points, and they have small tests at the end to check your understanding as well. So this is quite useful. You can also go through the vocabulary and the rest of this website and just go through it and see what's useful for you. All right. Um, I wanted to show you a YouTube channel which is quite useful. It's called BBC Learning English, and I strongly recommend that you subscribe to this channel and go through the videos that they have here. They have a lot of useful content and interesting content that won't bore you. So obviously coronavirus is a big thing that's happening now, so they have a lot of quite a few videos here about the coronavirus. But if you look here, they have something called English in a Minute. So they go over like common questions like soon versus early versus quickly. How do we use those? Okay, how to use the infinitive with to. They have short videos about health and well-being. Then they have a program called the English We Speak. So there's a new phrase that they bring to you every week, and these phrases are something that we use colloquially, meaning like we don't. It's not formal English. It's something we say, but it's not formal English. You probably won't find it in books or in written English. It's mainly in spoken English, especially amongst friends. So this is quite useful as well. Then you have 6 Minute English. So this focuses on vocabulary and listening. A lot of learners sent in their questions. So you ask the questions here and they answer it. Vocabulary again here. Then they have 6 minute grammar. So the use of can, could, be able to, manage to, it's quite useful. And I sent you one of these videos of talking about the future as well. The grammar game show, they have pronunciation here. So lots of really useful videos. One thing which I really liked here is learn English with the news. So they go through the latest news and they look at words and phrases in the news and they teach you those. They also have help with exams here as well. So there's a lot. There's drama, and they also have a website which is called bbc.co.uk/learning English. And again, it's the same stuff here, but you might find it easier to navigate this. Okay. They also have some courses on the website from lower intermediate up towards advanced, and they have quizzes on here as well. So it's a good idea to go through this website. All right. Now I wanted to move on to some books that you can use that can help you improve your English. One thing that we can focus on is called phrasal verbs. Now, phrasal verbs are basically it's a it's a verb plus a preposition, generally speaking, and that's what we these are what we use in spoken English a lot, especially informally, not for formal English, informal English. So, for example, uh, back something up. It means reverse. Now, if I'm talking to a friend and he's parking his car, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't say you'll have to reverse your car so that I can get out. I'd probably say you'll have to back up your car so that I can get out. So when we're speaking in English to friends and informally, we don't always use these words like reverse, equal, support. We will say back somebody up. So for example, my wife backed me up over my decision to quit my job, meaning my wife supported me. So blow up is another one. It means to explode. And we don't always use the word explode when we're speaking to each other. We usually say blow up or blew up. So learning these phrasal verbs are very important. It will help you understand English better, and it will also help you to sound more natural and more fluent in your English. And again, um, like I said earlier, this is mainly for informal English. Okay. So I'll send you this website link, englishclub.com. That's another good website, and they have a phrasal verbs list. I'll send you this link in the email. There's a book that you can get. So on Amazon, I found it on Amazon. It's called English Phrasal Verbs in Use Intermediate. This is an excellent book to get, and it's very, very useful because it's in context. There's lots of different topics, and you'll see how English is actually spoken and written, and it's used for self-study. And again, like on the website, after you finish the intermediate level, you can move up to upper inter and advanced. It's the same here. When you finish the intermediate level, just search phrasal verbs in use upper intermediate. When you finish the upper intermediate book, you can get the advanced book. So this is very, very good for self-study. Another thing I wanted to point out was collocations. And I've put this in your reports. And I just wanted to quickly explain what a collocation is. It's basically two or more words that go together quite often, and these combinations sound right to native English speakers. Um, some combinations work, some combinations don't work. There's no real reason for it. It's just that they go together all the time. So for example, in natural English, we would say the fast train. We wouldn't say the quick train. It's not wrong, but it just sounds very strange. We wouldn't say quick food, we would say fast food. Another example is the words strong and powerful. They have the same meaning, so I can say a strong man, I can say a powerful man. But if I'm talking about an engine, I wouldn't say a strong engine, I would say a powerful engine. So collocations is very, very important to learn because this will help you with choosing the correct words to sound more natural and it will be easily understood. And again, if you look here, it's easier for our brains to remember and use language in chunks or blocks rather than as single words. And this is something I try to point out in our online classes. It's very important to look at phrases, not words just by itself. Okay. So how can we record this? So I was talking about recording vocabulary earlier. Now when you notice a word, try to look at what's used with that word. So for example, maybe you see the word satisfied in a reading text or in a listening. What's coming with that? So maybe they'll say completely satisfied or totally satisfied. So that's an adverb plus adjective. That's one type of collocation. Another type is an adjective plus noun. So for example, the word pain. We usually say excruciating pain. Okay. Uh, and then again, there's more like lions roar. We don't say lions shout. We say lions roar. So that's a noun and a verb. What about the verb and the noun? Like we say commit suicide. We don't say undertake suicide. Okay. Something that came up in the class was we don't do mistakes. We make mistakes. So it's very important to learn these collocations and phrasal verbs. All right. And I'll send you this link as well, just so that you have an understanding of it. A book you can use to help you improve your collocations is called Collocations in Use Intermediate. I found this on Amazon. Maybe you can find it on the saudisouq.com website. I'm not sure. You'll have to check. Again, this is an excellent book to use. I've recommended it to many students myself, and even this is also for self-study. So when you finish the intermediate level, you go up here, you can search upper intermediate. Then you can, once you finish that, do the advanced book and this will really help you sound more fluent and natural. What happens sometimes is at this level that you find that you're in, which is the intermediate level, we get stuck. We don't know how to advance. We keep making the same mistakes and stuff. So you need some more focused practice. So that is why I've shown you these websites here for reading, for listening, for writing, because you need to do some more focused practice so that you can go beyond this block, because some students get stuck at this level and they don't see themselves improving. So you have to practice more and keep trying, okay? Phrasal verbs and collocations, this will also help you get past this block that you find yourself in. Well, if you found yourself, stuck, then this will help you get past that. All right, for grammar, this is a book I recommend, and you can get this in Jarir Bookstore. It's called English Grammar in Use, and this is at the intermediate level. Um, so when you finish this level here, so if you look here, it says Intermediate Learners of English. This book is quite useful because it takes you step by step through the different grammar rules and tenses that you need to know at this level. And it goes step by step. And it's quite easy to follow and quite easy to understand. And sometimes, as teachers, we take the explanations from this book and we use it with our students because it's so simple and straightforward. I highly recommend that you get this book and you go through it. And when you're practicing the grammar from here, please remember again to try to use it in your speaking, try to use it in your writing. The grammar that you learn from here, try to notice it in the listening and reading and see where it's being used. And so you need to start noticing how the language is being used, okay? So again, when you finish this one, this is for self-study. When you finish this, you can search English grammar and use upper intermediate. And then when you finish that book, move up to advanced. All right. For vocabulary, there's a book called English Vocabulary and Use. Again, you can find it in Jarir at the pre-intermediate and intermediate level. This is your level. Obviously, one of the best ways to learn vocabulary is through the reading and listening, like I mentioned earlier. So whatever you're reading, whatever you're listening, if you come across new words, you need to record it. But sometimes, for example, you might want to know more words related to a specific topic. So this book will really help you with that because you'll have vocabulary divided into different topics like environment, finance, crime, fashion, entertainment, and that will really help you expand your vocabulary. And when you learn these words, um, try to use them, please, in your speaking and writing. I know I'm repeating myself again and again, but I'm just trying to, you know, drive home how important it is to practice what you learn and to use it. If you don't use it, you'll lose it, like they say. Again, when you finish this level, search for English vocabulary and use upper intermediate. When you finish upper int, you move up to advanced, and that's how you can check your own progress and see that you're moving up. All right. One website I wanted to show you, which is quite useful, is this one here. It's called ingvid.com. There are lots of videos here, and you can find these videos on YouTube as well. And they have a lot of topics here from business English, comprehension, culture, all of these different topics. And this might be something that you'll find useful. So I don't know. For example, if you're traveling to another country, I don't know, maybe you're going to America or Canada or to the UK. There's some things about culture and tips that you can find here. For example, learn about the Scottish accent, dialect, and slang, how to pronounce British towns and cities, and social etiquette will be very different from one culture to another. So it's very important to know that as well. Um, yeah, so this is very, very important, and this will be very useful for you as well. And it's a great website to use. They have lots of topics, excellent lessons, and I highly recommend you use this as well. All right, and this was the dictionary that I showed you. They also have an app, the Cambridge Dictionary. You can use any of the big name dictionaries. You can use Oxford or Macmillan or Merriam-Webster. That's absolutely fine. The last thing I wanted to mention was I know I've shown you a lot of resources in this video and it's not as short as I would have liked it to be. But how do we use all of this? How do we study is another question that comes up. My advice to you would be make a study plan and decide how many hours in a week you can spend on studying English and try to practice all the skills of English. So let me tell you what I mean by that. Say, for example, you want to read some news. So you go to news.bbc.co.uk, which is a good website to use. Or you go to the Guardian website, theguardian.com. There's another really good website to use. Now, I recommend that you read, like I've said earlier, a variety of things. So you can read about opinion, you can read about sport, culture, lifestyle. If you click more, there are lots of different topics here: health and fitness, recipes, food, books, art and design, film, games, lots of things over here: science, environment. So try to read a variety of different articles. Now, say for example, you spend like, I don't know, 10 minutes reading an article about the environment. So maybe you read about, um, I don't know, how the lockdown has affected a family farm, about Greta Thunberg, who's going around telling people to, be more careful about their carbon footprint and stuff. Yeah, so say you read an article. After you finish reading the article, go through it again. Look for words that are new to you and record them in a notebook. So that way you've worked on your reading and you've worked on your vocabulary. After that, summarize that article in your own words. That will help you practice your vocabulary, your understanding, and your writing. Another thing you can do after that is speak to a friend and tell your friend about what you've read and try and get their opinion about it. And in this way, you're practicing the four skills. You're practicing reading, you're practicing writing, you're practicing speaking, and you're also practicing listening in a way because you're listening to your friend as well. Or you can also go on YouTube and search about this topic, maybe listen to some things about it from there as well. So my advice would be to try and practice these skills together to get the most out of your study time. And then, also spend some time with the grammar book and the vocabulary book and try to use this in your writing, sorry, and in your speaking. And since all of you have been studying together, my suggestion would be to meet up on Zoom maybe once or twice a week and have a rule that we'll only speak in English. We'll meet just for 1 hour or maybe half an hour. Maybe before the class you've watched a movie or you read something, and all of you read the same thing or you all read different things. When you come to class, tell each other what you read about, what did you watch, and try to use the new vocabulary and the new grammar that you've learned. Maybe you have a question, you're not sure, you ask each other and help each other learn the collocation, learn the phrasal verb, understand a certain word, and help each other learn and study together. And that's a really good way of improving as well. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I had to say. Sorry about that picture. That's pretty much all I had to say about learning English at home. Um, I know it's a lot to take in, so please go through this again if you need to. And all the best for your future. And I hope that you continue learning with us, and I hope that you continue learning English. And please don't stop, please don't give up. Keep trying. Remember to be consistent. If you don't have much time to spend on English in a week because we all have our own commitments to family and to work, that's absolutely fine, but be consistent. Try to do a bit of English every week, even if it's just an hour. The more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it, okay? And from this video, please don't think that you shouldn't watch any TV shows, movies, or documentaries and stuff. Continue watching those things. That's absolutely fine. But try to get something out of it and try to do some more focused practice. All right, so I'm going to email you the links and all the best for the future, and I hope to see you guys again.